We're going to be talking about um, Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25. And it's all about when God's timing is different than ours and finding hope. And so, one of the things that I find hard, and I'm sure some of you may find hard, I know I'm not the only person who experiences this, but waiting on God's timing. A lot of times I want to do things my way when I want to do them, when I feel like it's right, with the circumstances that I feel like are what I need to do. And what I've learned is when I don't let go and let God and I try to control things, I make a huge mess of everything. I make things worse. I delay blessings that God has for me. I get distracted. I'm thrown off course. I just make a huge mess of so many things. And so here lately, I've been feeling more at ease, at peace, just overall more happy. And I thought to myself, what is this? What am I feeling? And it was contentment. And it's been a while since I felt so at peace and so content with the way things are in my life. And I've gotten to the point where I'm not searching or looking or feeling like what's next? What is next? I am actually enjoying being right here in the moment and just understanding what a blessing it is in this present time that we are in, to be able to experience another day on God's great earth. And so I'm leaning more into just surrendering to God's will and letting go and going with the process and not trying to force things or manipulate situations to get an outcome I want, or to try to just move things in place. I'm trying to just go with God's flow and grace. And so when that happens, things just work out. Unexpected blessings occur. Things actually turn out a lot better than I could have imagined, what I even thought I wanted. Things that I thought I wanted turns out I didn't need, and God has something way, way, way better than what I could have imagined for myself. And that's what this verse from Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25, that's where it comes into play. And it reads, "The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him." Yes. And it talks about being patient and not just waiting on God, but trusting God and trusting that he is faithful to his word, trusting that what you prayed for, you shall receive, but you have to be patient and you have to let God just do what he needs to do. And during this time, what it is, he's usually preparing you. He's usually working things out on your behalf. He's usually clearing the path for you to get to where you need to go without just, having any type of setbacks and heartaches and just wrong turns and maneuvers. And as I stated before, that was something that I knew I needed to do, but it's not easy. It's not easy to wait. It's not easy to just pretty much surrender. That is definitely not easy to do. And so this verse, it's something that helps me focus on that and helps me just remember that I don't need to be in control. God is in control. And when God is in control, things work out the way they're meant to work out. It's his will. And there's nothing any of us can do that's better than God's will, that'll be greater than God's will. And the more we understand that, the more that we lean into that and trust him, the better our lives are. and the less stressful our lives are, because, thinking that you actually have control over something, it makes you realize just how little control you do have when you really think about it. Even with the weather, I found myself today looking at the news, trying to figure out what the weather was going to be. How was it going to be? Hot, rainy, cloudy? And it said it was supposed to rain. So I scheduled my day around this supposed rain that was supposed to happen. And guess what? It didn't rain. It didn't get cloudy. The sun was out. It was a beautiful day. And it reminded me that with all the science and technology we have, the meteorologists that predict the weather and the forecast, at the end of the day, God still is in control and has the final say. So they may have predicted that. And, when they made the prediction at that time, it could have been true. But God can show up at any second and change the course of all of our lives for the better, for his will, whatever it is, it can happen. And so that's a little bit about Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25. And there are so many examples in the Bible where God has asked those in the Bible to be patient and wait. And one example that comes to mind is with Moses. He waited 40 years. 40 years. Now, we all have a problem waiting a few days, a few minutes sometimes. Sometimes we don't want to wait a week or two, but imagine trusting God to the point that you wait 40 years. 40 years before he was leading the Israelites out of Egypt. And like I said, sometimes I can't even wait 5 minutes. I can be so impatient. But that's something I've praying to God to help me work out, to work through, and just see if I can just learn to build up that patience and trust him more. And then another example, of course, is Abraham and Sarah. If we think about now having children later in life, during that time, Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for the birth of their son, Isaac. 25 years. They waited. They trusted God. And God showed up, came through, and proved that he is faithful to his promise. He's faithful to his word. And so those are just a few examples of waiting patiently on God and understanding that his timing is better than anything that we could do on our own. And so I've given you examples of those situations where people had to wait on God and trust his timing. I also have a few verses that we can look at together. So in this verse, it's Isaiah chapter 30, verse 18. And it reads, "Therefore the Lord will wait, that he may be gracious to you. And therefore he will be exalted, that he may have mercy on you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him." So it says right there, those who wait for the God will surely be blessed. And just imagine the way that God will bless you if only you have the patience to trust him, to receive the best possible blessing, better than anything you will ever accomplish on your own without him. It all comes from just waiting on God, being patient. Now we have another one from Psalms chapter 27, verse 14. And it says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord." So that goes back to having that patience while you're waiting. God is strengthening your heart, strengthening your resolve, strengthening your faith, letting you see that you can trust him. And he is a man of his word. He is a God of his word. Everything he says shall come to pass, but it's not up to us. It's not in our timing. It's for God to do his will. And so just go forward over the weekend. Think about this. Anytime you're feeling impatient, anytime you feel like you want to hurry things along, anytime you feel like, things aren't happening on your timing, remember it's God's will. Remember Lamentations chapter 3, verse 25. The Lord is good to those who wait for him, to the soul who seeks him. So I want to thank those of you who tuned in to watch. Be sure to check out my Instagram page. I'm on TikTok. Please follow me on those platforms, also Threads. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have many of these videos on my YouTube channel. It's I am Jamila Naila. And thank you once again to all the people who are new to the page. I appreciate you. All the things that you comment, liking the post, sharing the post. Those of you who have joined my groups, I appreciate that as well.